Hello, I'm Reagan Box, and welcome to Reagan's World. Today is February 12th, 2023, and today we'll be talking about protecting America's farmers and ranchers. You wouldn't think we'd have to say that we need to protect America's farmers and ranchers. I mean, these are the very people that are feeding America. But apparently our politicians don't realize how important they are, and they keep making it harder and harder for these people to get by. Right now, the Colorado River is running at drought levels. And instead of telling places like golf courses and telling people don't water your yards and stuff like that, they put water restrictions out on the ranchers and farmers. In Idaho, they can't even wash the number of potatoes they need to each day, which means we're going to have a potato shortage and potatoes will come to the consumers at a higher price. The next issue I see is our government doesn't allow antibiotics in all animals. Chicken farmers, for example, if they have one animal get sick, they have to humanely euthanize that animal instead of giving it medicine and waiting a proper withdrawal period. This affects their bottom line when they're not working on a great profit anyways. They're only making 25 cents a chicken. So any loss is pretty big to them. There's also issues like the electronic logging. It makes it more difficult for ranchers to ship out their livestock when it comes time, because they say you have to ship them 14 hours away. Well, you have to stop after 12 hours and rest so many hours before you're able to go again, which means your animals are stuck on a trailer with no food and water. This is detrimental to them. Then we have issues with the illegal immigration. It's really scary to think of what these people could be carrying on their clothes or the bottom of their shoes that could be contaminating the land around them. Horses can get the Venezuelan equine encephalitis. Haitian immigrants right now, they can carry the African swine fever, foot and mouth disease, tuberculosis, brucellosis, cattle fever ticks, and all of this could be on some rancher's land, and he would never even know till his animals got sick. And there's no telling how far it could travel if this say he shipped that animal not knowing it was sick, and it contaminates more places. The illegal immigration is just really hurting them in several ways. They've already had to shut down bridges carrying meat or carrying animals to slaughter in Mexico and stuff like that because of illnesses in our animals. Not to mention the farmers in like Salinas, California and Yuma, Arizona, they're having a hard time because it's actually a biosecurity hazard if they find a footprint in a field that's not supposed to be there. That means they have a whole field they can't harvest just because an illegal immigrant stepped there. This is only going to create food scarcity for the American people, and it's going to come to us at a higher cost. We've really got to start looking at what the laws are really entailing for the farmer and the rancher, because at the end of the day, these guys are working 12 to 16 hours a day, and it barely comes out to minimum wage. They love what they do, they love their land, they love their animals, but our laws, rules, and regulations, especially from the EPA and so forth, they're just hurting them and their bottom line.
You and I have lived too long with this miracle to properly be appreciative. Freedom is a fragile thing, and it's never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not ours by way of inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation, for it comes only once to a people. And those in world history who have known freedom and then lost it have never known it again. Knowing this, it's hard to explain those among us who even today would question the people's capacity for self-government. I've often wondered if they will answer, those who subscribe to that philosophy, if no one among us is capable of governing himself, then who among us has the capacity to govern someone else? Using the temporary authority granted by the people in increasing number lately at all levels of government, have sought control even of the means of production, as if they could do this without eventually controlling those who produce. And always they explain this as necessary to the people's welfare. The deterioration of every government begins with the decay of the principle upon which it was founded. This was written in 1748, and it's as true today as it was then. Government is the people's business, and every man, woman, and child becomes a shareholder with the first penny of tax paid.